sweet friends. My name is Michaela Bell. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about how I do my monthly check-in, my monthly reset. For the last 12 years in business, I have done this every single month in my business. And then I thought a couple years ago, why am I not doing this for the other areas of my life? Like, I am a whole human. I am so much more than just my business. And so I started checking in with myself every single month, checking in on my emotional health, my physical health, my spiritual health, my soul health. And I'm gonna share with you guys what I do and what I just did recently for the month of March. So I use something called Notion. By the way, side notes, my ADD taking over. We're in a different location. I usually record up in my office, but today we're downstairs chilling with the horse back there. But I use a computer program app, I guess you can call it. I mostly just use mine on the desktop. It's called Notion. I live by it. I'm writing a book right now, and my book is pretty much all kept here. The app, Notion, let's tap it, and you can get to see all this. So this is what we're gonna go through today. I think that you can actually make this a template if I figure out how to do that. I'll pop it in the description. If I didn't figure it out, it's probably not in there. I'm gonna be looking over here at my computer. That is over yonder. But I'm just gonna show you literally exactly step by step how I did my check-in for this month and all the questions that I ask. And there's 3 different sections to every single monthly reset that I do. The first one is all about reflection questions. And I actually do these very similar questions every night. I journal in my little evening planner. So in the reflection questions for February, I ask myself, first and foremost, what went well in February? Oh, and one quick tip. Sometimes what I do to help me with this reflection is I set a timer on my phone, and as I'm going through these questions, I will look through either my pictures, either my photos, or I go onto Instagram. I just looked back at all of my stories so that I could see a little bit of what happened in that month. So for me, that's something that works really well for me. So I went through all the things, okay, and asked myself what went well for me in February. I launched my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, on January 31st. So I kind of feel like February was just my launch month in general. And my main goal was to be consistent and to post every single Tuesday. And I'm really proud of myself. I feel like that went well. I was prepared. I was excited. I had an absolute blast being able to produce that content. I made it to a fire night at my church, which I was really excited about. I worked out more consistently, and I got a gym membership. I was on one podcast. I'm trying to start putting myself out there a little bit more. Also went snowboarding for the first time. That went really well. Still here. Nothing was broken. I was scared I was gonna, destroy something. I designed a new evening planner. Honestly, it originally was just for me because I have an evening plan that I do, an evening routine. And I was kind of sick and tired of writing out the same thing in my blank journal. Thought, let me just make a little template for myself. And then I started to have an idea to potentially help other people. I also relaunched the podcast. So A Table for Two podcast is back. The next question I ask myself is what was a challenge for me in February, or what did maybe not go as well? I was really challenged in learning how to edit for YouTube. I thought that was something that I was putting off of my plate, but ended up being back on my plate. So it was definitely a challenge for me, for sure. Just trying to manage a few different disappointments. Also, my daily to-do lists were definitely not realistic for myself. The next 2 questions essentially have to do with my emotions. So how were my emotions in February? And the second part of that question was, did I let myself feel, and how did I handle those emotions? So some of the emotions that I really dealt a lot with in February were a little bit of anxiety. I definitely tend to feel anxious. Like, that is an emotion of mine that I tend to feel more than I would like to. But I felt definitely a lot of anxiety. And I think when you try something new, there's always going to be like a little bit of that element into it. And so that's okay. It's okay for those emotions to be there. I was also a little bit more irritable than normal, and didn't have a ton of patience with my daughter. And then also just I had some disappointments around not hitting some numbers. However, I also was extremely joyful in the month of February. I mean, I had so many beautiful moments with Ryan, so many like really great moments with my daughter. I had some amazing time with my friends. So I felt a ton of joy and happiness. And I think the important thing about all of this is that you allow yourself to feel all the feels, and you allow yourself to feel the emotions that are quote unquote negative or quote unquote bad. And I know some of us we grew up like really suppressing a lot of our emotions, and I'm learning right now in this like healed version of myself. And the healing version of me is to allow those emotions, to allow myself to feel them. I think I was really good at allowing myself to like co-regulate. And I'm going to be doing some more videos on like exactly what does that mean? Because there's a lot of beautiful science to it. When you feel, so regulation, like when your nervous system is regulated, you feel like calm, you feel like you're able to connect with other people, and there's like joy and happiness there. It's not that you don't feel, it's just that there's like a little bit. And when you feel dysregulated, whether you feel like anxious or your heart rate is lifted, or like you're constantly in fight or flight mode, or you're on the other one where you're just like frozen and like kind of stuck in a little bit of sadness. So co-regulating is when you are with somebody who's regulated and helps to regulate your own nervous system. I didn't let myself sit too much in the anxiety and some of the disappointments. So one of the things I want to do this month is to kind of let myself feel them a little bit and to work through them, whether it is through journaling or even talking to my therapist. I didn't journal as much as I usually do, and I could sense that. So this month I'm really excited to kind of check back into some of my journaling. How did I take care of myself in February? I focused a lot on skincare this month. I got a few new products that I really loved. And I was doing my gua sha. My goal was to do every night. I ended up doing half of the nights of this in February. I did, so 14 nights total, I did my gua sha. And I started meal planning. It only was the last week of February, but I still started. Then I asked myself the question, what prayers were answered in February? I had a lot of small things, a lot of small prayers that were answered, which I'm grateful for. I actually, every single night in my evening planner / journal, I write down 3 little big gratitude points. I call them little big gratitude because they're little moments that are actually at the end of life end up being the big things, right? And I do have an episode coming out. I'm not sure if it's going to be in March or April, but all about gratitude. Because if you're somebody who struggles with meditation and mindfulness, gratitude practices are really effective for you, because the parts of the brain that are activated when you express gratitude, not feel grateful, but express gratitude and do gratitude practices, it activates very similar parts of the brain that meditation and mindfulness do. So that's going to be a really great episode, especially if you're somebody that struggles with meditation. And then my other really big answer to prayer is the way that Ryan helps me in like our partnership and in our life together. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, his love is so unconditional. I'm so used to when somebody helps that there's like this expectation of how to express gratitude for it. And I feel like I always miss the mark, or I don't know. Sometimes I struggle with help. I don't know if it's being a single mom and like dealing with abuse. I don't know exactly what it is, but I really struggle with help. And it's somehow different the way that Ryan helps me in life, and does it in such an unconditional way. I forgot one reflection question. This reflection question I think is one of the most important ones. It is, what lessons or takeaways did I learn in February? One of my big ones was to work with my circumstances and stop trying to fit in a box that's for somebody else and not me. So for example, the gym. I used to think that I had to get up at 4:45 and work out in the morning. And while it does feel really good to work out in the morning, what I have noticed about myself personally, is that I am very creative in the mornings. Like, I flow in the mornings. I write better in the mornings. Like, I have ideas that come to me in the mornings. And so what I started to do in February was okay, let me just like erase the fact that I'm supposed to go to the gym in the morning, and I'm gonna go after I have a work session in the morning. And I have been getting so much done in the mornings and then going to the gym at like 10:30, 11, and it almost resets me. I'm like inspired, I'm excited, and I don't know, it's just been really working so well for me. So I think work with your circumstances, work with what works for you in the season of life that you're in. Next one was not feeling guilty for the way that I process things or in the pace that I process things. I find that I'm slightly, like I process things a little bit slower, and I used to feel really guilty for that. Like, oh, I just need to like speed up, and I don't need to feel guilty for that. Also, how I heal doesn't have a timeline. I had like a loss over the summer that I have really been struggling with, and I have been saying to myself, like, why are you still struggling with this? Like, you should be past this. And whenever you say should, it's like the language of depression. And how I heal is whatever time frame that I personally heal in, and I don't need to rush that process. Healing takes time, and it's not going to look like anyone else's, and that is okay for me to like sit in that process a little longer if I need to. So if you have been feeling, I don't know why, I just feel like the sense that somebody is feeling this, and I just want to tell you that it's okay for you to still feel hurt or still feel pain or still be grieving. You don't have to be on anybody else's timeline. This is you, and it's personal to you, and it's okay to let it be that. I hope somebody felt that today. My other big takeaway was that your friends matter so much, and while I know this already, I'm learning new layers of this. As you get older, you get more specific. You really do. You get more specific about who you want in your circle, and that was a really big takeaway for me. There's like just a different layer of that understanding for me this month. Last thing is, I guess a lot of these have to do with pace. That it's okay to take steps in the right direction, and that progress doesn't need to look like your neighbors or your last seasons. I have been comparing like product launches or service launches to other launches that I've had, or other seasons that I've had, or as I'm kind of getting back into shape of thinking like, gosh, it didn't take me this long last season. And I'm giving myself permission to allow my pace of progress to be what it is for this season and not compare it to past seasons. So those are all my questions that I asked myself for like general reflection on February. And then I write down, like I note the things that I feel like were memorable. And I look at travel, new restaurants, because I'm a foodie for life, meaningful connections, people that I connected with, mastery. I write down, what am I learning, what books, what podcasts, things like along those lines, any new movies or TV shows, purchases I've loved, God moments. So travel. We didn't travel a whole lot in February, but we did travel to the mountains with a bunch of Ryan's friends, like his whole group of friends, and I snowboarded for the first time. I did pretty good, you guys. I'm like so excited that I didn't embarrass myself. So that was a lot of fun. But we had a great weekend with our friends. His group of friends they're good people. Like they're just phenomenal human beings, and I feel so blessed that they've like welcomed me in with love and care, and I'm just really grateful. We had such a great time. Although night one, I had slightly too much fun, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Books I read, podcasts. It is ungodly the amount of YouTube channels that I watched in the month of February, but I was trying to learn how to do Final Cut Pro. I was trying to learn about YouTube. I consumed so much Think Media. My life pretty much revolved around YouTube. Movies. I watched OBX, the new season, The Woman King, The New Wakanda Forever, and I had to text Ryan, like, didn't we go to the movies? Like, I couldn't even remember what we did in February. And we went to see the new Avatar. Purchases I loved. I got these new pajamas at Target. They make me really happy. They're like velour and they're super cute. And I got these, I actually brought this down because I was so in love with it. They're these self-tanner tanning drops. Beauty by Earth. I'll put the link here for it because it's really kind of cool. All you do is you can put this in like any of your face serums or your body lotions, and it becomes a self tanner. So, and it's more natural, which I really appreciate. So I'll put the link in for that in case you're interested. And then God moments. My old boss, his name is Jamal Miller. He sent me this message on Instagram and I had to screenshot it because it meant so much to me. He subscribed to my YouTube channel, which for him is really big because he doesn't subscribe to anybody. And he watched one of my first episodes. And pretty much he told me to not give up, to screenshot this, which I did. And that YouTube was really gonna be a thing for me. And it meant a lot to me. It was just like a God moment of saying, I see you, you're doing it, keep going. And I also screenshot how many subscribers I actually had the day that he messaged me that. Cause like, I just wanna remember where I start. So that was one of my main God moments. I had quite a few in the month, but we'll just kind of leave it at that one. Okay, so this is what I do when I check in for all of my goals and my intentions for March. This is where we're kind of going in, is I think about these several different areas. The first one is movement and my body. How often do I want to move and what do I want that movement to look like? It's so important to set intentions in this area. And for me, I want to lift 4 times a week. I want to do cardio 2 times a week and add abs back into my routine. I don't remember the last time like I did an ab workout or like a core workout. So I want to start adding those back into my routine. And consistent gym time, potential Whole30 for Lent. I've always said I would never do Whole30 again. Here I am. But here's why. I feel like I just need a reset, and I do really enjoy Whole30 for like a reset. My business, I always look at my business and kind of figure out some main intentions for that month. It always helps me to keep me on track. So one of my goals this month is to hit 1,000 subscribers with a slight new strategy that I have for this month. And I'm really excited. I want to know if you guys can notice what the new strategy is, the new vibe slightly with the videos coming out in March. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to post every single day on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. My brother Garen's going to be so excited because LinkedIn is like his jam. He keeps telling me to go on there. So Garen, that's for you. I'm launching a library on March 28th. I have so many masterclasses, mini courses, 4-day workshops, so much content that's kind of living in the abyss of the internet. And I thought, why not make these available in case somebody who maybe didn't know me when I was doing the self-love challenge 2 years ago, maybe they want to take it now. So that's coming out soon. I'm also going to be launching a beta of my evening planner and journal because while I love it for me, I want to get a little bit of feedback on it before I fully send it to design, before I invest fully in like the whole design process and sending it to the publisher. If you're interested, if you feel like you could use a better evening, morning routine, it will for sure be a great option for you. It's going to be the cheapest it'll ever be and a little bit smaller. It's only going to be 30 days. Finances, I need to finish my taxes and I want to start being a little bit better about tracking my daily spending. I was talking to my friend Justin, who's my financial coach, and one of my things that I'm going to be doing this month is every single day tracking where am I spending my money and is it a write-off or is it for business or, you know, that type of thing. So I got a new spreadsheet from a Notion template, which I'm pretty pumped about as I love Notion. Like I love Notion. And hitting my income goal this month. Super important. Along the personal side of things, I want to finish a book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Polyvagal Theory in Therapy by Deb Dana, I believe is her name. And y'all, whew, some of the content that I'm about to put out after reading this book, I just know is going to be stellar. My evening routine has been pretty strong lately, but I just want to get it on lockdown for the month of March. So I'm really going all in, especially as I work with this evening planner. And then I need to be back to my early morning routine. I've been a little bit lax on it lately and I want to get back to my 6 a.m. Spiritual. Oh, you know what I never said? I never said my lessons or takeaways that I learned in Feb. Okay. Self-care, I'm actually adding 2 new skincare products into my routine, which I am so pumped about. Have you guys ever heard of Summer Fridays? I'm trying their new eye cream. It is their vitamin C and peptide eye cream. I'll link it in here. I'm not saying I recommend it because I haven't yet tried it, but when I tell you that I do an insane amount of research before I purchase skincare products, I mean hours. I'm a researcher. But when it comes to skincare, like I get a little insane. I say that to say I don't recommend it. However, you can be rest assured that I did a lot of research on it. So I'm super excited to try that. And the other one is I recently added retinol to my skincare routine. I know I'm like a little behind on that. But with that being said, I needed a new sunscreen. Sun care is so important. I read so many reviews on this one. I've heard it's amazing. So I'll pop that in the description if you're looking for a new sunscreen that is really light, that doesn't feel thick or like feel like sunscreen. So I'm really excited about adding that to my routine. And my goal is to do daily gua sha. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on gua sha because I sometimes see people do it on Instagram and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so wrong. And in order for that to be effective, it's like a stone. I should have brought it down, but it's a stone and you move it in very specific ways on your face in very specific areas. It helps for like lifting and anti-aging and like shaping of the face. You have to do it right though in order for it to be effective. So let me know if you would like a gua sha stone tutorial. Meal prepping for my mental health, and I want to get my nails done and enjoy it thoroughly. Sometimes I get my nails done and I feel horrible the whole time. I'd like to actually enjoy getting my nails done because I don't do like a ton of things like that. And then family, more scheduled time with Malin after school. So I've already put this into my calendar. I have an alarm set where I spend time with Malin after school. As my daughter is getting a little bit older, she's 11, she's in middle school, and wow, middle school's rough. It's rough out there in those middle school streets. And just continue loving my Ryan and having our usual dates. He's really good at date nights. He's just really good at the way that he loves me. It is amazing what you learn every single month, every single day, really. The problem is that we don't take enough time to sit back and realize that we've learned it and take a moment to reflect. Lack of reflection leads to dangerous reactions. That's a quote by one of my absolute favorite authors, and it's so incredibly true that reflection is such a valuable and often overlooked piece of the puzzle. And so when you add this type of monthly reset into your life, that's the one thing I think it really helps you with, is to build that reflection muscle, the ability to like look back and learn from your mistakes or learn from your strengths so that you can repeat the things you want to repeat and not repeat the things you don't want to repeat. If you take a little bit of time every single month to reflect, I'm telling you, it makes such a difference in your life. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode and if you found it to be valuable, because maybe I'll be able to do these more and more for you guys and provide more resources as well. If you're into self-improvement, self-discovery, and learning how to love yourself and heal through the process, subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified when we have new content that's coming out. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate and value who you are. We'll see you soon.